On this episode of Hudson Valley Hustle, I'm joined by Brian McGann, or who you might know as Brian Stylez of Stylez Entertainment. Brian's been a DJ in the Hudson Valley for years, and he now owns his very own software company for DJs and people in the entertainment business. This is a great episode if you're from the Hudson Valley, or if you're just looking to start your own business. Enjoy. First thing is I got to ask you, so when were you on K? Like what was the...
Oh man. I graduated college in 2003. So probably around 2005. Cause I remember when I was trying to get into radio, my first job out of college, I actually worked for ESPN for a couple of years. A professor of mine threw out an email, said ESPN was looking for workers, just threw out my name and worked in there. And actually my college roommate, who's one of my best friends, he took the job too. So we got to travel around for a couple of years with ESPN together, but I was always a music person and radio person. So when eventually I got into K104 through Sky, that was probably around 2005.
Okay.
Because I was there for 3 years before I left and then went to Indiana and did radio out there and then came back to K104 after that.
Nice. So were you ever the top 99 guy?
Yeah.
You were? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
When I came back from Indiana. So when I was here,
my wife was asking me. Because I told her, I was like, "You're not gonna believe who I'm having today on," she was like, "Oh my god, I haven't heard that name in so long." She was like, "Top 99." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure
that was me." Yeah.
She's like,
when I came back from Indiana is when I came back full time. When I was before Indiana, I was part time, promotions, doing whatever K104 needed. But I wanted my full time job. That's why I had to leave. Like no one was leaving. Sky wasn't leaving. Woodman, Scotty. Danny Valentino, I think, was the night guy at the time. But they were all secure in their spot. So if I wanted my own spot, I had to move.
Yep.
So did it, came back, and it worked. But when I came back, I was the full-time night guy.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Sorry.
That's cool.
Hopefully you edit that.
So, all right. So now are you doing, you have two different companies basically. So it's DJ side and a software side.
Correct.
But they both kind of like work hand in hand, right? So take me through like the DJ side of things. What are you handling now? Are you doing weddings, parties, stuff like that? Or
that's pretty much what I've always done. I got into the wedding industry really, really early on. I started DJing when I was 14 years old. Me and my buddy started, we bought equipment and it was perfect timing. All of our friends were turning 16, sweet 16, school dances, things like that. But then I got picked up by a company out of Highland Falls at the time and started working for them, but they had a crew of like 20 DJs. So this was like professional. Like you wore a suit or a tuxedo with bow ties and everything like that. So I got to learn like the professional side of it and not just doing sweet 16. So I got into weddings really, really early on. I'm not a technique turntable DJ. I never scratched or anything like that. I was always a blender. Because when I got into DJing, CDs were popular. It wasn't really the techniques at the time. And then obviously technology's changed. It went from CDs to now computers and things like that. But, I got to learn the wedding industry really, really young, which, I think has helped me in my career get into having my own company, but understanding the corporate world and weddings as an adult.
How do you like dealing with people getting married?
I love it. It's definitely changed. Don't get me wrong. And I'm probably going to say in the last 10 years, the whole industry is shifting. But I love it. And, almost this June will be 30 years that I'll be DJing.
Does that scare you, man?
Like crazy. Like I can't believe it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like I've been doing this for 10 years, like on my own. I'm like, where?
Time flies. Time flies. But doing it for that long, it's like, and seeing the different shifts with gear, with couples, with the industry, with, we went through a big phase and we're still kind of in it a little bit where barns were huge for weddings, There wasn't the glitz and glamour venues that they used to be, but now even that's changed to backyard weddings. So, but every single wedding, even to this day, I have a wedding next weekend and everyone knows not to talk to me 15 minutes before it starts because I still get nervous. Butterflies in my stomach. I walk around the room practicing their names. Like I take every wedding, like individually. It's not like, oh, well, I did one last week and it was great, so this one's gonna be. Every wedding is its own. Every couple's different. I don't care if you play the exact same set at one wedding and you go to the next wedding, it could bomb at the next wedding because each couple's different, each crowd is different. So you never know.
Do you have like a really eclectic music taste on your own? Because I feel like as a DJ, you've got to kind of know a little bit of everything.
Yeah. When it comes to an eclectic taste of music, I'm a 90s hip hop guy. That's just me through and through. You could put me in a room and I can DJ for 6 hours.
Is that what you grew up with?
Yeah. 90s hip hop, R&B, all that kind of stuff. But I love everything from Motown to disco to, you know, everything. I love it all. My wife makes fun of me because I'm not a huge country fan. She's the country fan in the family, but country's become more pop, where obviously we play a lot of it now. When it comes to different genres of music, like I like what I like to listen to, but when it comes to mixing, that's where the freedom opens up for me, because it doesn't matter what kind of music it is.
Yeah.
A beat is a beat. And that's what I love. And I think that's some of the things that like people like my style of DJing, because I will mix something from the 60s with something from today, with a country song, with a rock song. Like I love going from like something that's up tempo and all of a sudden you drop like an AC/DC track after and like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like that's what I love. And that has nothing to do with either liking the AC/DC song or not. It's just knowing how to mix it.
Just like for personal knowledge here, is that something that you kind of pre-plan, or does it happen kind of like on the fly? Because I've seen, there's tons of viral TikToks of DJs that blend like the most obscure. Yeah. Like I saw somebody blend like the Pokemon theme from something else. And it was like, how the hell did they do? Like that had to be planned.
Yes and no. Some you practice at home, and it's like if you ever find an event where you can use that, then you do it.
So you kind of like build your own little set list almost, like to.
Yeah, you have what I think you put things in your pocket. You know?
Sure.
And if you can pull it out, you pull it out. But if there's an event where you don't need it, then you don't do it.
Sure.
I did a wedding one time just for fun. It was just I felt that I could do it. It gave me the artistic freedom to feel like, I can try this right now. And I took the song "Pawn the Replay" by Rihanna, just the instrumental, and I was like, I'm gonna have some fun with this. And I threw the Happy Days theme song over it.
Okay.
And I had people that knew "Pawn the Replay" out there rocking out to the beat because they knew what that beat was. But then when the vocals came in, it wasn't Rihanna, and they were like, "Who's?" But then you had Graham out there going, "I remember this song from the '70s," So it was something like that. And then you come out of that with something completely different, and it just blows everybody's mind. It's like, so you literally touched on pop, a TV theme song, and then you can go into like an oldies or a rock song after that. So it's like
you literally appeased everybody in the room
in
with
3 minutes
song
in 3 minutes. Yeah, and that's what I love about music. I always said music is a universal language. Doesn't matter what country you're in, doesn't matter where you're from, music is music,
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Have you ever had like a crazy request from a couple? Like what's one of the craziest wedding song requests? Not wedding song, but party song.
One comes to mind. It's not necessarily a party song. And we won't get into detail on the song because anyone that knows the song knows like we can't talk about it, but
this is the internet, man.
Yeah, there was a wedding I did years ago. Absolutely one of my favorite weddings. After the wedding, the groom came in Yankee hats and Nike Air Maxes. Like it was just that kind of wedding. And the wedding was so good after the wedding, he actually bought me my own Yankee hat with Stylez embroidered on the side, bought me the same sneakers as the group, because he's like, you became a part of my wedding for what you did for us.
That's sick.
Because I customized a lot of things for him. They were just like, man, this was great. And what we'll never forget is their wedding song was Mary J. Blige and Method Man, "You're All I Need to Get By." That was their wedding song. There were no oldie songs. It was just straight 2000s, 90s hip hop the whole night. But their cake cutting song was Acanelli. I won't say the name of the song because it'll just give away what it is. Google it if you need to. But there is no clean version of that song. Like there is absolutely no clean version of that song. So I had to get a little creative with it. And I said, listen, even if I played the clean version, when they bleep out, it's just so many bleep out. Like there's not even really a song there. Yeah. So I said, here's what I can do. I can take the beat. Anyone that knows this song, when I play that beat, they're going to know what it is. And I'm just going to let that play as an instrumental. And every 30 seconds or so, I'll drop the chorus, which I don't want to say on here what it is, but I'll drop the part that and I'm going to come back out of it with just the instrument. He goes, if you could do that, perfect. The minute I dropped that beat, anyone that knew that song, that wedding was like this. They looked right at me like, what are you about to play? And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. Don't worry. But that was one of those things where I was like, man, I got to, because you got to
the line.
Because you got to understand is that you're also at a venue that you're at all the time. So it's like you could offend guests, you could offend staff. Yes, it's always about the couple. Don't get me wrong, but there are other things you have to take into consideration when doing things like that.
Yeah, you want to be invited back,
of course. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, some venues will not let you. Like a new style now with DJs wearing sneakers with their suits. There's venues that won't even allow you to do that. Like you have to be properly dressed.
Gotcha.
But there are also couples that say, "I want you to be comfortable," and they're telling you can wear sneakers. So where's the balance?
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Do you get a lot of people coming up to you asking for your card after a wedding or during a wedding? I imagine because that's how we found. Like we had a wedding, we had a band at our wedding. Okay. This is going back, I don't know, like 12, 13 years ago now, something like that.
Where'd you get
married? Down in Jersey at the Tides. You ever hear of the Tides down in North Haledon, New Jersey? No. Awesome place. Shout out the Tides.
There you go. Hopefully I'm there one day.
Still, dude, it's like one of the best. It was still one of the best weddings. And I know like it's ours, so like it's easy to say that.
Of course.
But other people say that. Other people still tell us that. But anyway, we met our wedding band at another wedding.
Oh, it happens all the time. Yeah, a lot of, don't get me wrong, and I know you're in marketing, so but marketing and advertising all works well. Word of mouth is still the best referral. When you're at a party that someone's been at and they know what you can do and they've seen what you can do.
You're one of those rare instances where somebody can actually experience your product without having to buy it.
Yeah.
Right? Basically.
They just get to be there and someone else paid for their experience to test you out.
Yeah, exactly. And dude, DJs make or break weddings.
Agreed.
I've been to some shitty weddings because the DJ was just like awful.
Yeah.
Pronouncing names wrong.
It's reading the crowd.
Just a really bad mix of music. Like just really like the way that they position songs together. Like it's not like they flowed together. It was just like a hard stop to something crazy. No. Like I imagine like you've got to kind of get it into a flow.
There's got to be a flow. And here's the thing. It's not even, I was just talking about this with one of my other DJs yesterday. It's not always necessarily just a flow about music too. That's the thing. 100% right. You need a flow with music. You can't, I was talking about kind of going all over the place with music. Yes, but in a organized way. I can't just randomly throw songs together. You could, but it won't sound right? The other thing when it comes to a flow of an event, and this is to me one of the most important unspoken things about it, is the actual flow of an event. Knowing what's going to happen after the first dance. Are we sitting down for toasts and speeches, or are we going to jump into a dance set? How long is dinner going to be? Is it a buffet or sit down? It's all those kind of like little intricate things that you need to pre-plan so the thing runs smooth. One of the things I've taught my guys since day one is always be at least 10 minutes ahead in your brain of where you are in the schedule. And what I mean by that is if you know you have parent dances coming up in the next 10 minutes, according to your schedule, don't wait 10 minutes to go find the parents because you're already too late. Make sure the parents know we're going to do it in 10 minutes so dad's not outside smoking a cigarette or mom doesn't run to the bathroom or someone's at the bar taking a picture. So you got to be at least 10 minutes in your brain ahead of where the schedule is so you can prepare and have everything run smooth.
That's good, man. Do you have people that, you have a team with you or is it?
I did. COVID kind of changed that.
Okay.
Which then launched the software.
Yeah.
So I had like 7 guys working for me for a while. Then COVID hit, and, some people moved and life happens and, things like that, which was kind of a good thing. COVID was bad for all of us. Don't get me wrong. But for me, I tried to look at the positive at the end of it when it was all done as it was a hard reset. And it made me focus on different things. It made me, cherish different things. Like I have 3 kids. They're all getting older, sports, things like that. I want to be there for their sports. But, it was stressful, man. And I deal with a lot of DJs with my software company. So my numbers might not seem as high as theirs, but we were doing probably about 175 events a year. Okay, for my company. I personally was doing about 80 to 85 weddings, just weddings, not corporate events, Sweet 16, 85 weddings myself, right? And doing 5, I maxed myself out at 5 events a day. That's all I could really do and handle with my crew. It was stressful, man. It was really stressful. Like I'm at my wedding wondering if you're at your wedding doing the right thing. Like I just needed to make sure that all my guys were at their weddings and they, knew exactly what they were doing. But as a business owner, you stress, but then I feel like I'm not concentrating on my event enough because I'm concentrating on an event that I'm not even at. So the take back a little bit where after COVID, I went down to like 3 events a day instead of 5. So I handle 3 events in a day and that's, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's great. How many events are you doing now on your own?
Well, again, that shifted. After COVID, it dropped to about, I was doing 80, 85. Like I said, I probably dropped to about 60 to 70 after COVID. And now with the new company starting to overtake things, I'm down to like 30, 40 myself.
But I still feel like that's a lot
because like a lot of DJs that's full time for
that's almost one a week, right? Where it's not Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m.
Fridays and Saturdays, right? Sometimes Sundays,
right? Exactly. Sometimes. And you've got a family, right?
Yeah.
You got kiddos that are getting
3
old,
kids,
right?
Yeah.
So how's that?
It's hard, man.
But I imagine like having the software companies now kind of like, is it giving you some of that family time back?
That's the beauty of it. I'm very honest with my kids. I sat down with my kids and when I launched this other company, I said, listen, I'm doing this for a couple reasons. One, to give dad more time with you guys. Like I'm home during the week, I have an office, but like I drive my kids to school every day. I pick my kids to school after school every day. I get to do things that certain dads don't get to do, which is amazing, right? Because I have that freedom, which, I love. And that's the entrepreneur in me. It's like, I don't think I could ever sit behind a desk 9 to 5 again and be told what to do, But being able to do that, it's given me the freedom to do other things too, to where I can pick up my kids, I can drive them to school, I can set my own schedule. That's the beauty of it. This isn't a plug for anything like this, I promise, but I love using the app Calendly. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Dude, that's what I use to schedule podcasts.
I love Calendly because I can put my schedule into Calendly.
Yeah.
And then when I give you the calendar to choose when to pick a time with me, you're really only choosing when I'm available.
Exactly.
So that's
but
what
you're
I love
giving me
about
the feeling of control.
Control. Choose whenever you want.
I love it.
At your leisure,
Love
whenever
it.
you're available. But I'm really only telling you when I want to work. So it's like
not an ad, but
no, not an ad, but it's just
but
like
I'm open to it.
Yeah,
I am open to it though.
There you go.
Like if that's the case.
But I love it. It's like, and I love technology. I've always loved gizmos and gadgets and the new phones and things like that. So like when I find things that can make my life simple, I do it.
Yeah, it's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's did that naturally kind of like get you into the software game, or how did you develop a software company for the entertainment business?
So interesting story. I won't go into crazy detail, but when I left K104, when I came back to K104 for the second time, right? I was there for about 3 years doing the top 9 of 9, like your wife was saying. But then I had my own kid. My wife and I got married. We had our first kid, and it was like the radio life wasn't really what I wanted to be in the clubs till 4 a.m. I was the night guy, so I was going to work at 4 o'clock. My wife was coming home and work at 4 o'clock. She was a teacher at the time, and we were just like 2 ships passing. And I was like, this is not the kind of father I want to be, the husband I want to be. So I said, listen, I'll give up radio and go get the dad job, right? So I took a job for a software company selling something to bars and restaurants. And I was there for about 2 years. But as I was selling that software, I missed DJing. I wasn't DJing at the time because I was in the radio. Mm-hmm. I said to my wife, I said, hey, I'm going to go start a little side hustle and just DJ a couple parties on the weekend for fun, extra money, things like that. But because my name had such like a ring to it from K104 for so many years in the area, and I've been DJing in the area for years at that time, when people found out I went back into DJing full time, my phone just blew up. Like I couldn't even expect what was about to happen. And within the first year to a year and a half, I was a full-blown DJing business with a full-time job. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I'm going to go full-time DJing. I'm going to quit this job and go full-time DJing. But I was pen and paper. I had a little pad on the side of my bed with a little Verizon blue flip phone. I'll never forget it. People would call me up and I'd write it on a piece of paper. I was like, there's got to be a better way. And the system that I was selling at the time was so customizable. It was for bars and restaurants, but I kind of just flipped that into like a mini DJ system.
Gotcha. Was it like a CRM?
That's exactly what it was. It was a CRM. And somebody that I worked with at that company, he kind of overheard me talking about it one day, and he ended up being the programmer of that program that I was selling.
Okay.
And I didn't know that. So again, we didn't do anything while we were at that company, but a year or so later, we both left and we reconnected behind the scenes. I said, hey, I'd really like to build something for myself. And that was 15 years ago. I built this software 15 years ago just to run my business. And then, like I said, when COVID hit, it kind of like, pressure to a diamond. Like you have pressure of like, what am I going to do? I'm making no money. And then out spits a diamond of a whole new business of like DJs were trying to get better organized. Like they were Googling like, hey, when COVID's over, how do I become a more organized DJ? And what softwares are, and my software just started to get found. And it just took off from there.
That's sick. So like, What does it do? What does it give?
Everything. Like, man, it's so hard to explain what it does. I'd rather show it. But like, if I was to show you what it did 15 years ago, what it did 2 years ago, let's just leave it at that. Because when I say 2-3 years ago, because I only launched this 2 or 3 years ago. But as more DJs have been becoming involved in this, DJs are giving us ideas. Hey, what if it does this?
Perfect.
What if it does this? Well,
your own research and development. Yeah.
100%. So awesome. I was building the system just for me based off of what I needed for a company. And I was this size company, but there were so many DJs out there getting into production work and photo booths and lighting. Those weren't things that I was doing at the time, but those are things that the industry needed. So in the last 2 years, we've flipped this system upside down so many times. It's unrecognizable to what I built, but it's so like unbelievably like, wow, like did we really build this from scratch and like kind of really shake up an industry right now that had a software, and I won't, name names, but there was a software that was out for a long time that DJs were using. And new ones were coming out here and there, but nothing ever for me gave me everything I needed in one solution. And that's where my whole goal was for this. And I feel like that's what DJs are starting to see is like, wow, I can run my business with one system and not 30.
Yeah, that's great.
So, and it's an industry I've been in for so long that's like, I have the knowledge.
Yeah.
But again, I don't pretend to know everything.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning from other DJs.
So you knew the problems that you had, you knew the solutions that you needed that you couldn't find, you knew basically ins and outs of that one.
Yeah, I've been told so many times. Like, wow, you're solving problems that I didn't even think I had. or I didn't even know I was going to have in the future. And again, you know, you have older school DJs, again, 30 years in it, but you know, there's a younger generation coming up who are amazing DJs. We were just talking about it off air, right? You've seen these mixes that they're doing and these mashups that they're doing, right? But there's a whole generation of DJs that are going to change this game in the next 10 years. But the way I look at it, that's DJing. DJing is a skill, okay? But I'm talking about the business side of it. Like what I didn't know 15 years ago when I took that leap is that I could just be a DJ. And I say just be a DJ, but provide for my family off that. I didn't need another job and a DJ. It could just be a DJ company. And I feel like this new generation that's coming up is seeing people like us like, well, he has a house and a car and kids, and all he does is DJ. I keep saying all you do is DJ, but you know what I'm saying? Like people don't look at that as like a job. People say, oh, it's a side hustle. I'm like, no, it could literally be a job. But I want to now, with that new generation that comes in, be like, hey, you don't need to hit those bumpy roads and learn the things that I need to learn. Here's the software that can help you right out the gate. And that's what I'm really trying to provide back to the industry.
That's great. Yeah, because I think this theme comes up every single entrepreneur that I talk to just about, is that you're really good at the thing that you love to do and the thing that made you start the business, but you suck at the business stuff.
All the time.
And there's so many things that you don't realize that are going to end up happening, things you're going to have to do, lists that you're going to have to check off that you didn't even think you would have had to, that you've got to be good at all that stuff.
And I wish I had somebody when I was 15 years ago that would have given me a system or shown me the ropes, or, hey, I had to go through these rough spots so you don't have to. Like, no one did that for me. We all learned it. And that's fine. It, you know, gives you your rough edges. But if I can help the next generation not have to do that and give them a head start on where they can be with starting a business, why
that's
not?
A major problem that you're solving, and you're making life easier for them. There's so much value in that. It's crazy. Has, in the last 2 or 3 years, has the software company been the thing that has kind of let you decrease your DJ?
Yeah, that's where it's like, that's the balance. You know, I have a buddy of mine who's a fellow DJ, and we, you know, talk about stuff like this. He was transitioning, or still is transitioning, out of trying to slow down with DJing and get into some other things that he's trying to do as well. And it was right around the same time as I was doing this. We had those conversations of like, man, like we're all doing these amount of events a year. How many do we, you know, not have to do, or how many other things we have to do with this new thing to take away from this? So it's kind of like that seesaw, right? And you would hope as one goes down, one goes up, and it's an even keel. It doesn't really happen like that. You know, to put the effort into the new business, DJing had to take a hit, right? And it's like, wow, you took a big hit at once, and it's like, now I need to speed up the other part to balance it out. So you wish life would balance at the same pace, but it just doesn't. But yes, that's exactly what's happening. Like, as the software company is getting bigger and bigger, I can decrease on the amount of events that I'm doing.
That's awesome. That's the goal. That's fantastic.
But
not only that too, but like it lets you scale yourself to beyond just the Hudson Valley or wherever you're willing to travel to a gig, basically.
We just signed up a DJ in New Zealand the other day.
That's awesome.
Like right now in 2 years, we have New Zealand, Australia, Alaska, Canada, London, and Puerto Rico.
Sweet. Like, can you tell me about the first person that signed up for your software that you were like, holy shit, I can get paid for this?
Was my buddy I was just talking to you about.
Is it?
That DJ I was, because we go on bike rides and it's talk business, and he's like, I can use a software like that. So he's my first live, besides my own company. Right. He's my first paid customer. And that's going back 10 years now. But besides a friend, I don't know who the first one is who was a non-friend. I don't know who the first paid customer was, but my first paid customer was my boy Pat.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I love it.
I just love hearing like the story of, I sell this thing that's not a physical thing, and somebody across the country gave me money.
How'd they even find out about me? Like, I know the internet, I get that, but like, I'm Hudson Valley, right? It was an idea that came up, and I was sitting in an office in Montgomery, New York, on a rainy Wednesday. I'll never forget it. Like, how did that idea that popped in my head that day make it across the pond to London, make it to New Zealand, make it to North Carolina for that matter? Forget a different country. Like,
so it's
you know, it's insane.
So cool. How do you support your customers, or is it kind of like all done software wise?
No, I do it. So I have two partners in it. They're my programmers. Jen and Andrew, shout out to them. Two of the smartest people I've ever met. Like, how they make my ideas come to life. They press numbers and letters, and I give them ideas, and they make it happen. It's crazy.
You need a technological partner 100%. To do something like this. You need to. I was just talking to somebody We had somebody on the show not that long ago. He was like, I had the idea for an app and it failed because I did not have a technical partner. It's like how could otherwise you just have an idea.
And I'm an ideas guy. Like we just talked off air, 3:30 this morning, an idea popped in my head and I had to write it down because that's just what happens to me. But I'm pretty technically savvy, but not in coding.
Right. No, that's what I mean. You need that. You need that brain. You need that engine.
So it's just it's a good partnership where they have that aspect of it. And then I'm, so I do all the support. Like, I'll do the trainings. I'll do the live Zoom to show you the program and sell it to you.
You onboard them yourself? It's awesome.
Yep. And then obviously I'm making YouTube channels and videos and things like that. So there's training videos. But again, when you're a small business, I'm making the videos. I'm doing the Zoom call. It's like, is there enough time in the day?
That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot, man. That's
the videos help because then it's like I'm not having to hop on a Zoom and answer the same repetitive questions. So
exactly.
Videos help. I just need to find the time to make the videos.
Yeah, it's good. So. We could do that for you. I'm just saying. Shameless plug.
Let's talk.
Shameless plug.
Let's talk.
So tell me a little bit about like business wise now. How many DJs across the world do you guys have on your platform, and what's the goal? Like, where do you guys see this going in the next few years?
Oh, man, the goal there's no particular goal in mind. As far as like it's as many DJs as I want to go across. What I've noticed has happened. Like I said, I started off as I'm a DJ. That's all I've ever been. I don't do production. I don't do any, like AV work and stuff like that. So when I built the system, it was strictly for events, weddings, corporate events, things like that. We're noticing a shift in the industry where a lot of DJs are getting into production. I have one client in Boston who does a lot of DJ trivia bingo, and he's at the same locations every week and things like that. So we built, our system, if you look at it as a core, we're starting to splinter off into some different things. So we built a whole other part of our system called repeating events for clients like that. We're now building a whole production side with inventory management where you can keep track of what cameras are going to what events and QR code scanning from your cell phone. This is not stuff we did 2 years ago.
Yep.
I didn't need that, but the industry is calling for it, so we're building to it. But again, this isn't just for DJs. This is for photographers, event planners, venue. This is an event industry system. And that's what I built, was an event system. But how our company is and how our software is, I can build this for anybody. My brother, who lives in Cornwall, owns a plumbing business. I can build him a CRM from his plumbing business. Like, I built an event system because that's what I know. That's my world. But the software was so customizable, I can build it for any industry.
Yeah.
I'm just focused on the event industry because that's my world.
Yeah.
But the company's, it's scalable.
Yeah. Well, like you said, that's the industry, the problems in and out.
But if someone comes to me and is like, hey, it actually just happened when I was in Long Island the other day. Someone came to me and was like, hey, I would have loved to use this system, but it's more for events. We do this kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, we can build a system for that if that's what you're interested in. He's like, really? You tell us what you want. It's a custom system, but we can build it. Yeah. And people don't get that kind of, customer service. They think I got to go to these big companies that are like, I'll say it, Salesforce or something like that. Right. But that's not necessarily customizable for your industry. Sure, yeah. So if you can find a program that can build something specifically for you, that's like having a genie in your pocket.
Absolutely. Just save so much time.
Yeah, but you get what you want. And you get exactly what you want, how you want it. That's the beauty of it. You know?
I love that, man. So customer wise now, like how many, is it a regular subscription model? Like how does it work?
Monthly subscription. They pay a monthly fee. There's a baseline price. Obviously there's add-ons and things that you can put onto it. But there's the baseline price, installation fee to set you up. That's the biggest thing too. I knew that was gonna be one of our biggest hurdles, was getting people to jump from one system to another. And I always, give stupid analogies sometimes, but they make sense when I'm like, if you had to go move your house right now, if I told you there's a beautiful house down the road that you can move into right now, and you're like, yeah, that's like the new system, right? But then you have to realize I have to go pack up my garage and my house. When you have to move all your stuff from one place to another, it kind of deters you from like, well, should I then? And I knew that was gonna be our biggest hurdle. So one of the things that we do is, and it all depends on the program that they're currently using. That's the biggest thing, because not all programs do this. Most should, they all should, I should say, allow you to export your data out of your current system. There's some systems that don't. Like if you leave their software, your data stays in their software and you have to go start from that. Yeah. And I don't agree with that. And that's part of our business philosophy. We would never do that to somebody. But as long as your software allows you to export that data out of there, part of the installation fee is we import that into the system, clean it up, so we do the import for you. So it's like having a moving company. Yep. Imagine if I said, I'll move your house. And you're like, oh, sure, I'll do it then. Then you'll move, right? So if I'm kind of overcoming that hurdle for you to say, we'll move your data for you, it kind of knocks down one of those blockers of like, well, I don't want to move. So
that's cool. This sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah, I love it.
That's fantastic.
It's taken me on a path that I just never saw. I never wanted to be a 60-year-old DJ. I'm not 60, but I never wanted to be a 60-year-old. I never wanted to
let the record show. Let the record show.
I'm older, but I'm not that old. But I knew that DJs do have a shelf life. I knew that. My radio career fizzled out. Right, I'm still connected with K104, and I'll go on there whenever they need me to. But my full-time career is fizzled out. I knew there was going to come a time where the DJing was going to have to. My back from lifting the equipment and just again not even knowing the music too. Yeah, like that's the thing too. Like you have to be up on the music. Like I try to be up on the music, and having kids definitely helps. You know what I mean? But there's going to come a time where you don't understand or know, not mixing wise, but know the songs. You gave me 10 songs right now, I'll mix them for you. Mm-hmm. I don't even need to know what they are. I'll mix them for you. But it's knowing the song selection, of knowing what to play. And when you start to get out of that pocket of knowing it, should hang it up. And I never knew what my exit plan was going to be from that. And this just happened.
Yeah. So you basically got a future proof.
I see where my exit plan out of DJing could be. Now, don't get me wrong. I will still DJ. I love DJing.
I was just going to ask you that. I'm like, are you ever going to not though? Like,
I literally just bought a brand new system 2 weeks ago, and my wife's going to kill me. She's like, you said you were going to stop soon. And I'm like, I still love my toys. Like, and if I'm going
you said you're a tech guy. Like, you got it. Yeah.
And if I'm going to DJ, I want what I want. Like if I'm going to quit completely and never touch it again, then I'm never going to buy it. But I'm going to mess with it. Someone's always going to ask me to do a party or something. So
that's awesome, man.
I'm just not going to do 80 parties a year anymore.
Yeah. Or maybe even not even 30. Like
maybe not even 30. Yeah,
like exactly. You're doing now.
Exactly.
That's I feel like that's a lot. Man.
It's a lot. It is. But
that's good,
I love it.
But that's the thing. You also love that. I do. That's cool, man. You love what you do, and you're figuring out a way to future-proof yourself. It's a freaking dream, man.
And stay in the same industry.
Yeah.
I didn't even switch industries. That's the best part.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I switched lanes.
That's awesome. So if somebody wants to either... two sides of the coin here. So if somebody wants to book a party with you, a wedding with you, whatever it might be, how do they get in touch with you? And then give me the same thing for the software side.
So the DJing is Stylez Entertainment. So the radio name was always Brian Stylez. Shout out to Skywalker because he gave me the spelling of that name when I first came to K104. So it's STYLEZ, not S. So that's his spelling, but it's stylesentertainment.com. That's the website. And the other one is Simple, SMPL, simplesystem.com. That's the software side of it, and then you got the DJ side.
Gotcha. So if you're in the entertainment business or restaurant or anything...
Software-wise, it could be anything. Like I'm just saying simple system because we were talking about the events part, but if there's a car dealer or a car detailing place right now that's looking to have a system, like we could build you a car, just go to simplesystem.com, and when you go to that website, you'll see the different services that we can do. White glove services, event services, which we're talking about, or just small businesses. And you click on the small business one, takes you to our small business section, which has nothing to do with events, and that's where you can start to see the other systems we can build.
That's perfect, man. This was great, man. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Like it's been like months in the making.
Looking forward to it.
I'm glad we finally got this to happen. So yeah, just contact Brian. That's it, man. Thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.